Iguanas are undoubtedly very cool. They're huge, they're spiky, they have prehensile tails, and they can even change color. But when you think about it, they're actually pretty weird. For starters, they're not even technically lizards. They belong to a more ancient group of reptiles that also includes turtles, crocodiles, and dinosaurs. This group is called the Archosauria. Although iguanas share many characteristics with lizards, like being relatively small, having movable eyelids, and lacking a common hole between their nostrils and mouth, they are more primitive. For example, iguanas have a temporal fenestra, or hole, behind each eye socket. This is a feature that all archosaurs have, but not all lizards. It's a small opening in the skull that allows for the attachment of powerful jaw muscles. The presence of this feature suggests that iguanas are more closely related to large predatory reptiles, like crocodiles, than they are to other lizards. But wait, there's more. Though iguanas aren't technically lizards, we do get some insight into their evolutionary history by looking at the scaly appendages around their eyes. You see, most modern lizards have lost their third eyelid, which is a transparent membrane called the nictitating membrane. This leaves them with only two eyelids, like us. But some groups of lizards still have their third eyelid, including the relatives of the Tuatara. And these Tuatara relatives are also the only living lizards that retain a feature called the parietal eye, or the third eye. The parietal eye is a simple light-sensitive organ located on top of the head, just behind the skull. In some species, it's covered by a translucent scale, while in others, it looks like a small dark spot. All living Tuataras have a parietal eye, but the organ is non-functional and has no role in vision. Instead, it acts as a photoreceptor, triggering a response to light that causes the animal to raise its head or coil its tail. This behavior is thought to be an adaptation to help regulate body temperature. So, could it be that iguanas also have a third non-functional eye somewhere on their heads? A 2014 study published in the Journal of Morphology used microcomputed tomography to digitally reconstruct the internal structure of several extinct and extant reptiles, including the green iguana. What they found was that the space between the eye sockets and the back of the skull was significantly reduced in the iguana compared to other archosaurs. And instead of having a large open fenestra like other archosaurs, iguanas had a solid bony structure here. Importantly, this structure was perforated by several large holes, but none of these holes were associated with eye structures, so no third eye was found. However, the researchers did find evidence of a third eye in other archosaurs, including crocodilians, birds, and the tuatara. Unfortunately, the study did not include any other iguanian lizards, so it's possible that a reduced fenestra and the evolution of solid skull roofs with multiple openings is a characteristic of the entire group. The researchers suggested that perhaps the loss of the third eye in iguanas is related to their diurnal habits. As the largest extant group of iguanian lizards, they occupy a wide range of habitats throughout the Americas and exhibit diverse behaviors. But most are active during the day. Unlike nocturnal animals, diurnal animals do need to rely on a third eye to regulate their body temperature, since they can simply bask during the day. To better understand the evolution of the third eye, we need more studies that include a wider variety of lizards. But regardless of whether or not they have a third eye, one thing is clear: iguanas are truly one of a kind. They're the only living members of their group that have claws on their front feet. This means that when they climb, they essentially have opposable thumbs. They also have claws on their back feet, which they use to grip branches while they kick off with their prehensile tails. Yes, their tails are prehensile. Iguanas basically use their tails like a fifth limb, except it's not just their tails that are special. All four of their limbs have a total of 86 individual muscle units that act like tiny little fingers. These features allow iguanas to grip branches with incredible strength and maneuverability. If you'd like to learn more about the evolution of any of the topics covered in this video, I've included some resources in the description below. Thank you so much for watching.